team that came out on top. It's Vici versus TNC as we welcome Kyle back to the panel alongside Winter and Black. Kyle, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. Was an interesting match.
Indeed.
To commentate on, I guess, but probably not the greatest fun.
The thing is, for me, it's a lot of fun because I'm still watching these games and talking about them like a player almost. I'm almost like going over the replay while it happens in front of me, and it's just really fun to watch good Dota. I've brought this up a lot in interviews and stuff, but most of the Dota community looks at Wings as like this shining example of Dota 2, and they played a style very similar to what we saw Mineski just do, where they would just play the game and they would win it. They weren't going to sit back behind a tower. They'd make the smoke, they'd place the deep wards, and they would take victory and yank it away. And that's fun to watch, and it's great to learn from, and it's just it's why I play.
At the same time, is it frustrating to watch poor Dota then?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, because there was some poor Dota in that game as well.
Yeah. I mean, not especially. There were some mistakes, but I mean, unlike the panel, I saw that coming.
Well, that's why we're glad to have you back.
I can't
prop up these reprobates.
How are you not going to back Mineski, Winner?
Do you know what's funny? There is a funny story about this that we didn't talk about on the panel. Fogg came on just before that series started, and before he sat down, he was like, "Guys, I'm just going Mineski both games. They've got to win this." And then he sat down and he went Optic both times. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know. I shouldn't doubt myself." Yeah. So he knew.
That's a good rule for
He
life.
knew it was coming. China, #1 apparently, according to Jabs. Are they going to come up top trumps in this game?
I think this is a very dangerous series for VG. TNC is probably the fastest team in this tournament. VG has shown themselves to be one of the slower teams. Again, they favor a lot of combo. When you play these kind of combo raid boss type lineups, when they have bullying lanes but not that much mid-game synergy and count on scaling to win the game for them, I think that puts them in a lot of trouble against a team like TNC, which will want to rotate from the very beginning, punish you, put down very deep wards.
All right, let's introduce you to both the teams.
Welcome on stage, Vici Gaming. Welcome on stage, TNC Predator.
we go then. We have two teams in the arena for our final series of the night. It is the Battle of the Bridesmaids. 5 runners-up spots between these two teams over the DPC season. Never a champion so far. Is it their time to shine here in Shanghai? They've got plenty of rows to walk through, one of which is each other in this particular one, and then the semis, the uppers, and the grand final. So still 3 matches away from being able to be crowned, but getting close to DPC points, Kyle, and I think that's kind of what they both want to at least get out of this tournament, if nothing else.
Indeed, I think it's a huge series for both teams, much like the previous one where you have teams that it doesn't matter how the rest of the year goes. You get second at this tournament, you have a TI invite for now. And Mineski, I think, needs even less than that. I think Vici, too. I think Vici is still top 8 currently.
Vici are doing fine in terms of DPC, yeah.
But it's still a scary spot where a couple teams that you wouldn't expect winning a LAN, like specifically these SEA teams. You got Fnatic, Mineski, and TNC, which seem to be just chomping at the bit to prove that, hey, we're actually really, really good. And you can take a look at the rankings right there.
DPC points on screen right now. Here's a fun thing for you. Any team that has 0 points right now but wins a major goes 4th.
Yeah.
Literally jumps above Newbie and Vici Gaming, which is crazy when you think about it. But that could be TNC.
Yeah.
TNC could jump all the way up there. And they've got a few points right now as well. They've got 270 points to their name, and they're ranked in 13th, as you see, bottom left corner. So they've got an opportunity. Just spring a surprise jack at one major tournament in the DPC, and you could end up being right in there.
Yeah, some players on some of these other teams have mentioned this as well, specifically VG and Newbie. It's a situation where they find themselves to the added pressure of their own competition and preparation, kind of hoping that the top 3 continue to win. Doesn't work both ways. Like, it'll give them a chance to get more points, but also like someone can just win one tournament at the end of the year and kind of hop into those standings. If it gets more evenly distributed, it gets harder and harder for them to kind of lock up that TI spot. So aside from their own success, they want the teams to continue to lock up the points.
And I wonder whether they're looking at it and going, crap, Secret are out. That's one of the top 3 gone. Virtus Pro currently in the lower brackets in the best of 1. There could be another team gone. There could be only Liquid left in the top, which means 3 of the teams that aren't in the top 4 are getting points, and Vici have got to hope that they're one of those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been tough for them the last few months. They've come under some fire, some scrutiny. I think Lanham is a player who's been looked at pretty closely by a lot of fans. One of the older generation of players, kind of not this new mechanically skilled type of 4, but known as a kind of a captain and a leader, and that role is already occupied fairly well by Fenrir. So if Lanham doesn't adjust as quickly to some of the new heroes, you see him play a lot of Dark Willow and such, then it could be a tough spot for the team.
It's almost inconceivable to me, Kyle, that they would make changes, bearing in mind that they are 5th right now with 2,100 points. But
that's the thing that separates Dota from every other esport, where it's not enough to be top 10. It's not even enough to be top 5. You're trying to win. And realistically, you saw with VP cutting Lil, even though they'd been in a couple of finals already, to pick up Roger, because you want to win, to be the best. It's not like Counter-Strike where everybody in the top 15 of America has this nice salary and they get to stream and they play their 2 matches a week and it's all good. In Dota, it is incredibly top-heavy, and there's so much pressure and scrutiny to get to first. Last year, $10.5 million versus 3.6. Big difference for half a day.
It's true, but it's also more than half a day, isn't it? It's 364 days.
24/7.
It starts literally the day after TI finishes. We all know this because we've been there the day after it finishes. And what's happening? All the players are talking to all the other players.
Oh, yeah. That's
where are you going? Who's picking you up? And that's when it starts, right? Everyone says it doesn't start until like October. It does. It starts the day after TI.
The
hotel lobby. No, the hotel lobby.
Yes.
The people leave the after party with their teams. And sometimes things aren't necessarily set in stone, but that's why a lot of people will tell you, I mean, and don't take it, every 6K Redditor is going to hear this and think, oh, I got to get to TI after that's what comes. But if you're
like a draft,
if you're a semi-professional player and you're, fringe scene, maybe go to some events, playing some qualifiers, and you really want to succeed, you got to go to TI because that's where the magic happens.
Absolutely. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're still a few months away, of course. late August this year, and not in the USA for the first time in a long time. It'll be in Canada this year. But as I said, long road ahead for all of these teams, and for TNC, they'll be focusing on this particular matchup. Jack, what have they got to continue to do? Have they just got to do what they did in that tiebreaker day? Because they were absolutely incredible that day. They had their up and down group stage, but that tiebreaker day was just unbelievable.
Yeah, continue to be aggressive. Continue to rotate as well as they do. Get numbers to every fight. Get down that aggressive vision and not give Vici a chance to come online. I think, again, if Vici does not adjust in this series, they're going to have a serious pressure from the very beginning of the game onwards, and it's going to be hard for them to get into the game in a position that they want, that they feel comfortable in.
Yeah, I agree. I think TNC has to just play their game. Whereas for Vici, I think they are the ones that are more concerned about adjusting and trying to play a little bit faster and not go into all these multiple heroes with long cooldown spell. That's a big no-no against TNC.
Yeah, but it's something we've seen from them a lot, though. That's the problem, isn't it? Are they capable of moving out of their comfort zone?
I don't know, man. They've been really hard-headed with a lot of the games where they just drafted roughly similar things over and over again. But I don't think it's going to work against TNC. Maybe they think it's going to work, and they lose one game, and they're going to try to figure things out. But I definitely would not recommend having long cooldown heroes against TNC.
If I'm not mistaken, Vici won both their games yesterday with OD, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was one game they had Phoenix, OD, Faces Void.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not so sure that's the style you want to employ against a team with the pace of TNC. It's just, the word I'd use is a small ball. It's like this basketball analogy. The Rockets are utilizing it. Best record in the NBA right now. Quick movement, lots of ball movement and speed. They beat you with pace, and they have you just running up and down the court, just lost. And that's how TNC likes to play. You can't put like 4 Shaqs up against 3 guys like running like this. Okay, eventually you're just screwed. And that's kind of what this Void Phoenix is. It was good back in the day. I think like TI6 meta we saw that featured prominently, but I think teams are just like almost too good nowadays for that sort of thing to succeed.
Okay, let's take a look at the carry matchup as one of our featured matchups between these two teams. They've had varying successes, Jack, throughout this tournament. Paparazzi, at times, has looked like the old version of him, and at other times has looked very quiet.
Yeah, I think, as Kyle mentioned, the OD yesterday has been one of his more successful heroes. And I don't know if this is something that TNC will try to take away from the series, but again, like a lot of Chinese teams like this hero because you can fight early on. The hero also carries a save from that carry position, which is pretty unusual. And he does help a little bit with team synergy in terms of mana issues in these skirmishes. So a valuable hero for him. Raven has been known as a very aggressive fighting carry for some time. Talk about these heroes like these Weavers and Lunas, that Juggernauts that he's played very well for quite some time, and he really fits the team's playstyle. He loves to come off the line and just scrap it up with the rest of his boys.
What are you made of these two?
I would ban OD, and then I'd give the edge to Raven. Pretty significant edge, I think.
Okay.
I've seen Raven play a lot of heroes incredibly well. I've really only been impressed.
Terrorblade. I think Terrorblade is his best hero.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. It goes something I said the other day about item choice being paramount of paramount importance on Terrorblade. He always seems to make the right decisions and just plays the hero very well. And if you keep proper spacing and you hit your timings, like the hero seems insane.
How has Armel been for you? Because we heard rave reports of the guy. Everyone coming in here said to me he's probably the best player in Southeast Asia right now. Has he shown enough to confirm that, or is the jury still out?
Southeast Asia, I'm not sure, but I've said on this panel, I think he's the best mid in Philippines right now. Definitely the top mid player. It says a lot when Kuku is willing to move away from the mid role. He's been a long time mid player.
Yeah.
He said, okay, you play mid, I support you.
Yeah, and only the good players usually do that if they find someone better than themselves, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a huge say, and his performance in this event has, proven that he's really, really good.
Okay. Sam H in the offlane. I mean, he has hit and miss tournaments. Sometimes we come in and we see him and you just go, wow, this guy is incredible. And in other games, he's almost invisible.
Yeah, I think Sam H is better with a certain type of hero that happens to fit their style. He usually will want to play these kind of initiators with a lot of tempo, something like a Sand King, a Bat Rider. Not really these kind of frontline tanky team fight heroes that we see some of the Chinese teams favor. And so I would say that as long as that fits their game plan, it works out well for them. And Armel, I mean, part of his performance has been all different kinds of heroes he's played extremely well. From these pucks, initiating, taking damage, a lot of Razor's Edge plays that he seems to execute very well, to more of these bigger farmers that you want to carry the game from or take up the space that is created by the rest of the team. So Armel's versatility has been a big part of that. It's rare to find someone who excels so much in different roles within that same position.
Yeah, to go off of what he's saying, I think that's a key for TNC is just how do they make sure that Sam H has that good matchup, because his hero pool, I don't want to say it's limited, but what he likes to do can only be accomplished on a couple of heroes that have been losing for a lot of other teams that can't match the TNC's speed. But Sand King, Bat Rider, even Clockwork, these are very matchup dependent heroes. You can't just pick them, and against certain other lineups, like they don't do enough damage, they fall off, they're ineffective. However, they have Raven and Armel, who have continued to impress, making these dual lineups, these dual core lineups just seem...
I would target, I think, the carry, Raven. I think when he has a bad game, the team tends to struggle more because he, like Jack mentioned, he's a very active carry. Even on Terrorblade, he would move early to another lane, pop meta, and push the other lane. He wouldn't just be content sitting, oh, I'm just going to farm. I'm just going to focus on taking down my tier 1 in my lane. No, he just wants to make sure that he helps his team along the way, not just being like selfish all the time. So I feel if he does not get a good game, they are lacking in terms of a lot of momentum. And Sam H is not a player that's given a lot of priority on this team. He sometimes gets like a very bad lane matchup. He's on the clockwork, and he's not gonna get a good start if Raven doesn't get to help the team.
Okay. I wanted to talk to you three as well as we wait for the draft to begin. It should begin any moment now. As you can see, players getting ready. I think there was just a small issue to sort out, which hopefully is all done. Coaches. Kyle, we've kind of talked in the background about maybe one day you become a coach. After
I get kicked from the panel?
Well, no, you don't get kicked from the panel. We don't do things like that. We're not teams. I mean, come on, man.
That's not what I've heard you saying. There's the own little shuffle going down at the hotel lobby last night.
We don't have our own DPC points on which talent gets to TI.
I thought it was just like your number of Reddit threads.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. That might be something Fog cares about.
If that were the case, you'd be rather difficult to kick from the panel.
I don't know, man. Just wait. Give it a day or two, all right?
Yeah.
Reddit thinks they can get on my good side, give me some compliments here and there. I know where they're going. They're just trying to butter me up so they can bring it all down. I'm ready.
All right, so let's turn our attention to coaches, because I want to talk about Mikasa, and obviously you can give us some insight, Jack, on how this man works with this team. What's his impact been?
So this is a coach who last year at the award ceremony at DAC for Perfect World, they were like, the Coach of the Year award. And on stage, I think Yao and Xiao 8 went up there, and they're like, well, there's only one coach who himself won a championship playing this year, and that was Mikasa when he stood in for VG Reborn. So a very vocal person. If you ever get a chance to know or play with Mikasa, he directs and lays everything out. Like his big picture vision of the game is incredible. Literally, if you play with this guy, he tells you exactly what you need to do, and like it's the easiest thing in the world. So he can't do that in the game for them, but in terms of strategy, in terms of heroes, in terms of knowing these teams so well from being in this team for so long and playing against them himself, that's an invaluable impact. But also, he's an older, more established person who they look up to as like kind of a life coach we mentioned earlier as well, like someone who will take them out to relax, someone who can help adjust their mindset and psychology as well.
So he's doing a bit of all of it. Kyle, the coach role hasn't been defined. That's what we were talking about in our previous panel. As in, like, there's no strict rule for how that coach should react. Some are, like ROTK, are literally the boss. Put him in the middle of the seat. He drafts. You do what I say. You play what I play. Mikasa, a slightly hybrid version, and he's sort of a life coach as well. With just Heen, very strategical, very meta coach kind of for Liquid. Everyone's different. What's your preference for a coach? What should a coach be doing?
I would say that if it depends on what kind of coach you are. As you said, there's very different styles. I think, if you're going to say the perfect coach is probably drafting, and it makes it a lot easier to take in your team's ideas, but yet have one mind creating one game plan that the team then can be trusted to execute. There's a prominent captain that feels, and I quote, Dota is a dictatorship. If you look at the most successful Chinese captain in history, Zhao Wei, his nickname, I believe, Jack, is Iron Fist. Is that true?
The director.
The director. I heard the director and I heard Iron Fist. And the key to both of these is that they imply a level of control and trust that it is his vision that will then be utilized by his team to guide them to victory. And I think that that's crucial in Dota if you're going to succeed. And if you look at all of the top teams, they call them the builders, right? You think Puppy and Kuro, Zhao Wei, Peter, these guys always have teams, and their teams over time are always good. Misery can be included in that as well. And I don't think it would matter if they switch teams. They're always going to be relevant, and they're always going to have like results. And it's because that's just how Dota works. You look at TNC, Cuckoo switches from mid, starts saying, okay, I'm going to be a captain. And all of a sudden, look what they're doing. It's all about having one idea, one mind as you approach the game, and then execute as 5 players. And, you know, think like Pacific Rim, right? But instead of giant robots, it's just, you know, like
I was with you right up until you started mentioning crap films.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually see it. Of course, no, I
10 seconds
Nothing
remaining.
missing.
Yeah.
Let's move into the draft for game number 1 between TNC and Vici Gaming because the bans are incoming.
Gyro Sand King Tusk from Vici. Tiny Razor +1 from TNC.
Yeah,
Dark
no
Willow.
no surprise really
Dark
on
Willow,
the
possibly.
Gyro and the SK particularly.
10 seconds remaining.
One thing to watch out for is that Vici has a pretty high priority on these
5
bullying lane
seconds
supports.
remaining.
That's how they secure their cores in lane. But TNC can kind of disrupt that, as we've seen Liquid and other faster teams do so by just having more mobility and just moving around, making it a numbers game in any of the lanes.
Just having Furen. That's what you're saying.
That's one good way to do that. I'm not sure if they'll try to ban like Bane or ET or something here, but that's something that Vici definitely needs to be careful of.
I think Furion is going to be a auto picker ban by the final day of this tournament. It seems to do far too much. You saw Miracle make it look broken as a core. Then you see Jabs make it look broken as a 4. And I think a big part of that is that we talk a lot about tools. You have the laning strength. You have a disable in the form of your Sprout. Thank you. Thank you, Vici. Your ultimate is on a 60-second cooldown. And it's essentially a better version of Zeusalt that also hits the creeps, guys. It's lane push, it's global teleport, it's disable, it's laning strength, it's minions for tower push, and you can itemize for anything you want, which is super important in a meta where teamfight items are king.
5 seconds
It's
remaining.
also mobile as well, which we've been talking a lot about today.
Yeah, plus you get that Chen-like laning presence. You played as a support, and again, no one messes with Treants. I remember like back even a few patches ago, like players talking about if there's Nature's Prophet in the game, you're not contesting a bounty rune because even if you send 3 heroes, they're all going to be bruised and battered by the end of it.
Another hero that's come out of the most recent 7.12 patch. With some slight buffs.
The Hunter. The Furen Hunter. Next,
It's also a good play. It's a good pick with Lesh, and it also is like the go-to Lesh counter, especially for Chinese teams.
10 seconds remaining.
This is another option frequently for TNC as well. For Sam H, is if the Sand King is not there, as Kyle said, protects against Lesh. But also, if you're off split pushing by yourself, if you're kind of playing alone, as Vici's cores tend to do a bit more in the mid game, then you can very easily punish with something like this Nyx. Gives you a lot of reach.
It's very TNC's opener is very susceptible to these BKB carry heroes, Lifestealer, Juggernaut specifically.
I like Viper against these kind of heroes also.
I do as well, but I just don't know if you really want to. I mean, theoretically, I actually like Viper against TNC style because you know they're going to run at you, and Viper is one of those heroes you're very confident just to kind of, scorched earth. Leave the Viper behind. We'll just take the one. Ooh.
Didn't we see this?
I feel like I've
seen this before.
You mean like an hour ago?
Yep.
Was it really?
And about an hour and a half ago.
Interesting.
Page out of Mineski's book. Who'd have thought?
So again, for bullying laners, for standing their ground, this is an old 11 staple. And also, if you talk about like the kind of cooldowns and burst. If you pick these very bursty, aggressive heroes, this is a hero that's very annoying for them to play into because it's hard to kill him. It feels like you have to commit way too many resources at times to bring him down.
And the cool thing about this profit support, we saw last time Optic choosing to pick they picked Underlord into it. They're picking What's the other hero they picked to counter? I'll say like Sand King. Jakiro. That's something Kuroki did against offlane Prophets. But the issue is that these Underlord Jakiro heroes don't actually counter support Prophet because he's not just sitting in a lane trying to pressure a tower. His whole purpose is just to annoy that support and secure the lane for his core.
And he's going to TB to another lane to secure another lane.
While killing a courier.
That's where the problem comes in, right? You overcommit to counter this hero as a core. They don't play it as a core. You lose your lanes, and your other heroes feel useless.
It seems like a better version of what Naga used to be able to do, where if you didn't counter the Naga enough, okay, it's a core. Have fun, guys. And if it wasn't, it's just some support running around with a Meteor Hammer, and you're like, what do you really do against that in the first place?
10 seconds remaining.
DK Lifestealer bans from TNC. I like both. We just saw how strong DK was with an Abaddon. And then Vici choosing to ban the OD Terrorblade. But the OD being banned, it is the counter to Abaddon, so I agree with that choice. I'd love to see a last pick Bristleback from TNC. It might not happen, but I love that hero against this Prophet and the Abaddon.
Also gives them a lot of sustain, too. And then they did have the Nyx on TNC side, so again, another kind of answer, really annoying hero for OD to play into.
I actually kind of like maybe an Invoker. I think Invoker, mana burn is generally very good against Abaddon, and if you look at their lineup right now, it could work with the Nyx, and Invoker's global presence could also help with the Prophet. We haven't seen the hero a lot, but it's something that as the tournament progresses, we might see different heroes pop up because the meta is shifting and moving, and teams are going to figure out new heroes to deal with whatever is being picked at the moment.
I've talked with a bunch of people about how they feel Nyx can only really be played with some sort of global Prophet, Invoker, and Invoker really likes to play with Sunstrike setup. Yeah. A Troll third pick. Wow. That's very early. There is still... The thing is, the Nyx denies the Batrider, which is like the go-to counter to Troll as far as an offlaner goes. But at the same time, that's so early.
I guess they feel like they won't Batrider anymore because there's a Prophet and Abaddon. It's probably less likely that they do it, but I agree, it's very, very early here.
Now I like that Viper pickup even more that you mentioned earlier, Winter. Something that holds the Troll in place.
Yep. Troll's very similar to a Razor in that as he runs into the fight, a natural BKB user that will do more damage as the fight progresses. And then you have some sort of BKB piercing disable, like Viper's ult, Bane's grip. I think it's very effective. Bane, and I've seen the Lanham Bane, he was the first person to actually skill the hero correctly. He will max Enfeeble, and Troll will hit with, instead of axes, just the fan that his team's champion came out in front of them with.
Except that they usually run it on Fenrir.
Yeah, that's recently. Lamb has not been playing the hero.
Yeah.
This Troll is not feeling like he's gonna have a good game. No,
This Prophet still could be a support, right?
It is a support. I would say almost certainly.
Because there's an Abaddon there. Unless they're running some kind of carry Abaddon. And,
no, you support
which would be a bit weird, wouldn't it?
You're playing against Nyx/Troll, you're supporting that Furion. And that shows it is a core Nyx or a core Lesh. Very strange. Definitely outside, I don't want to say outside of TNC's comfort zone, but not what we've seen recently. And their last pick is from a very specific set now. It needs to synergize with the Troll. That's another great counter pick to the Troll, by the way. They need something that synergizes with the Troll and also like has the ability to just split push from it's like a sniper, honestly. I'm looking at their draft. I feel like it has to be a sniper, but I'm sure Vici is going to ban that out. The alternative is that the Invoker you mentioned or a Shadow Fiend. I think those are like the three heroes that you can possibly pick for TNC. I don't see any other options.
I think Invoker is probably a bit too slow for them, but I think the Shadow Fiend's a pretty good choice as well.
The issue is you're playing against Bane. It's just so annoying to deal with.
Shadow Fiend's gonna die a lot though. There's a Furion support running TPing into you, and you have maybe a Nyx to help you or a Lash support. Not sure which one.
It's likely to be a Lash support. The Nyx. It's usually Sam H's hero, but
Tim's does play the Nyx too.
Yeah, has in the past, not recently though. Actually, semi-recently.
I think if you're Vici, you ban Sniper here, and
5
they need
seconds remaining.
a paparazzi hero because Ori is the DP, if I'm not mistaken. And you've got options. I don't want to see them go for that typical jug pick, but at the same time, it's good here. You just lose to the troll as the game progresses, but you might just be able to hit this tempo timing where you have, much like we saw in the previous series, you have an Abaddon and a DP and a jug, and no one's killable, and you can just take this advantage through the laning phase, secure objectives earlier, and just dominate the map until you come out with a win.
Yeah, I think
Take a gyro.
some hard farming cores in order here. That's a possibility. Perhaps even a Luna as well. Again, they have this raid boss type of lineup again, where there's a frontliner and multiple saves for whichever their core is.
I like the gyro as well. I think you just want a hero that buys BKB. That's really all you need. You can't be any hero dealing AoE damage against like this Nyx Lesh because you're just going to catch a Carapace and all of a sudden you're going to be stun locked to death. You want to just have a BKB, and the synergy between Abaddon and BKB heroes is insane because you just spam this BKB button as he shields you. All of a sudden, their initiation is completely done with. And if you look at TNC's lineup, if they're committing to a fight, they're all going to commit. And all of a sudden, there's a gyro BKB with a flak out, everybody's going to die.
Dire team pick.
Yeah, good ban. Makes TNC's draft, I feel like they've put themselves in a bit of a hole. I'm not quite sure
TNC's turn to pick.
if they go with Jug. They did this the other day, and I didn't like it. It was what was the game? It was one of the last games of the group stage.
They had paparazzi coming off the line to fight. I think he went Sanjin Yasha first,
It's a
and
tiebreaker
Yeah.
game, I think,
then
wasn't it?
Battle Fury afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the one
10
against OG.
seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
and it was the same story where they just. It's
5
better this time because of the
seconds
Abaddon. I feel they have a lot more sustain, so the Jug doesn't just run in, use his cooldowns, and if nobody dies, he's like, oh shit, I'm dead. And now you have the ability to play a little faster. They have more sustain. Elder Titan,
Now
didn't
select
see that
your
one
hero.
coming.
What?
So it's
Well, okay, they've effectively got 4
wait. So
supports.
the Lash becomes very powerful right now with the Rubik and ET.
Yeah.
Nyx is gonna be their off lane. So
Yep. So Armel's going to play the Lesh. And Sam's going to play the Nyx. Yep. Okay. Interesting
I
draft
mean-
from TNC.
The strategy seems to be Armel, go. And if he can get ahead and win his lane, get some support, like ET Lesh is absurd amounts of damage, but I'm just not sure. It's just such a hard game.
Yeah.
There's so many tools to kill this Lesh, and they don't have real save. I want to see what Jack and Winner think first.
All right, let's go with Jack first.
I think the core matchups are better for VG. This is consistent with their philosophy. They have the bullying lanes, and they have the good core matchups. And I think this is a bit of an odd draft for TNC considering what we've seen. So I'm going to go with VG in this first game.
Okay.
I actually don't think it's odd though. Those are heroes that they are quite comfortable with. Sam H. Nyx and everything else is usually what they do. Maybe the combination of course a bit slightly weird with the troll into that mix, but I think they're gonna be able to play their fast-paced game and they're still gonna take the game.
Okay, all right. So TNC for you?
Yep.
All right.
It's a really tough one for me. My gut says Profit's not balanced right now, and they're not. TNC can't win the lanes,
Yep.
thus they'll lose the game. I think TNC is playing better, and they are the better team, but it's just such an uphill battle for them. I think it's like 70-30 Vici, so I'm going to go with them.
Gonna go with Vici.
Vici Gaming.
All right, okay. 2 for Vici and 1 for TNC from our predictions on the panel. Game 1 is just about to begin, so let's head over to the arena for TNC to see whether they can make it through alongside their brothers from the Southeast Asia region, Mineski.
Thank you very much, Red Eye. Yes, Sam Modi Pixel. I'm here with Fogged for this final series of Day 2 of the main stage of DAC. TNC versus Vici Gaming. We've just seen the two lineups. Fogg, what are we thinking? TNC, they open with this Lesh, this sort of lightning pony that everyone's starting to love, and they've got a lot of ways to utilize it this game.
They have been, they changed and adapted in their draft very heavily, right? Like we were looking and we're like, oh, troll third pick. No one, like everyone on the panel is like, who's going to be support now? And then they end up changing it up again at the end there with the turnaround. I think Kyle was mentioning it too. It's like ET plus Leshrac. The amount of damage these two heroes is actually absurd. And then throwing a Rubik on top, if you have this null field getting maxed out, it can make Armel actually go totally off this game. But they are going to be playing versus this Nature's Prophet that we've been seeing win a lot of the games recently. I think it won 4 in a row today, right?
I mean, it's something.
At least 4 in a row today.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Are we going to see another win? I mean, Lanham and the boys are going to certainly hope to. I mean, as sort of the panel touched upon as well, a lot of just very strong heroes on Vici Gaming. Like getting this Ori Death Prophet, having the Paparazzi Jug, which in a sense a hero that very much can work against this sort of focus in terms of magical damage around this Armel Leshrac that the TNC have decided to draft.
The Jug for me is probably going to be the big victor. Like Death Prophet, they even mentioned it, versus Troll Warlord, it's a very tough matchup. Troll trying to get in, you get completely punished so heavily by that exorcism. But the Jug, I've actually seen this kind of matchup pretty recently of Paparazzi when he was playing versus, I think it was Liquid, when it was My Control playing the Nyx Assassin, and Paparazzi that game, he took over completely as a Jug, and that could be similar in this game. Jug versus Elder Titan, Jug versus Nyx, Jug versus Leshrac can be a very, very nice Juggernaut game. But definitely looking forward to a couple hero combinations as well, in fact.
I want to apologize for this short pause at the moment. Looks like we are waiting on one of the members of TNC to give us the go-ahead so we can get on with the match.
The only concern for the Jug is really like that Troll Warlord, or if they're able to get the instant disable and lock him down. The Troll, if he actually gets in like a fight just straight up with the Troll, sure, Troll, if he has like decent items, he can match up well. But the Omni Slash also works in that favor if he gets him isolated. So we're going to see how it all pans out. So we're seeing TNC, they're going to be running dual lanes to make sure that Sam H doesn't get completely shut down because it's a Nyx versus a Jug. So you do see Tims is starting with a Stout Shield to make sure that he can put the pressure on. And they already know that, you know, Lanham's going to be porting around, so they want to make sure to do these dual lanes to be able to try to guarantee the farm for Raven. So Vici, taking a page out of Mineski's book, right?
Absolutely.
With the not only just the support Nature's Prophet, but picking the Abaddon.
Yep,
so
we saw what Ice really go off on this hero in those 2 games just now. We'll see if 11 can give us a similar level of performance. And I mean, is this a game where he could certainly sort of open up at the start and have a pretty free lane on this Abaddon, or do you see TNC being able to sort of keep him away from the creep wave?
It's really going to be dependent on where Lanham is and what he's able to do on the Nature's Prophet. Because Rubik Troll, Rubik can be a bit weak, in particular if there is that dual lane. So yeah, just really dependent on if the Nature's Prophet starts there, which I'm assuming he will. And they will be blocking the pull as well on the side of Vici, making sure that TNC can't pull it back and try to out-level them.
We'll see how Raven and Cuckoo deal with this.
Interesting. So it looks like Lanham's going to start top, maybe, it seems like, and Fenrir is going to be playing down bottom.
See 11. Take a bit of a beating here from Cuckoo and Raven as TNC wondering if they want to try and push them away from this rune spot. But pretty scary there with the Abaddon and his Aphotic Shield. So they'll stand the ground. Fenrir and 11 will be able to take it for themselves. Up top, TNC did manage to make the invasion though onto Vici Gaming's top half of the map. So still 2 runes for either of the side going evenly. And so yeah, we'll see what Fenrir can get done down here with 11. So why do you think they have decided to have the supports this way around rather than, you say, the more expected way?
I think he just wants to use the Enfeeble to try to slow down the Troll's last hits. That's the only thing that I could really see, because now they're putting top with a Nature's Prophet, and there's an Elder Titan up there. So he benefits even more from that NP being up there from the Treants, because the Spirit just lets him do that much more damage. And look, Tim's going to work up top onto Lanham already.
They're going and chasing him down. He's got the Spirit out. He's got a fair bit of a punch. Paparazzi trying to turn things with the Blade Fury, but Lanham, he's getting low. Sam H trying to right-click him down, can't quite find it. Now Paparazzi and Lanham are turning. They've got the body blocks here. Tim's trying to come back into help. Sam's got the stun onto 2. Will hold them back momentarily, but still trying to hunt. Lanham will have to back up now. Tim salves up, so able to get himself back in there, and first blood will not be claimed by either side as of yet, but that salve will be. Sam H pops the salve, but comes a little too close to Paparazzi, so it gets removed almost instantly.
Costly loss of regen already. That was Tim's salve too. So they're already running low on regen up here. So the Nature's Prophet is doing the work up top, and bottom you see the Bane is already starting to slow down Raven's last hit. It's only 2 and 0 on him.
Just spamming that Enfeeble. And he has to CS with 18 right click at the moment. That's not an easy challenger at all.
You see though, it's kind of similar because there's a Fade Bolt on the Rubik too. So he's doing the same thing to 11. You see both of them are actually struggling to last hit.
Look at this. This is a very hard game of CSing down there for both cores.
Yep.
We'll see who is able to come out on top.
Mid matchup is like dead even at the
It
moment.
really is. Is this sort of expected between these two heroes, or once the levels are there, do we start to see one of them getting zoned out a bit more?
No, I think it's going to be like trade farming. The lightning it applies a lot of pressure though, so
Yeah.
DP could drop low from a rotation and get killed. Armel
Both trying
already
to
getting
man up.
aggressive. Doesn't connect the stun. If that stun hits, it would have been getting close. There is a lot of wand charges though on Ori.
Top lane, CS for Paparazzi, 7 for 5. So, same as Raven on the other side of the map at the moment. So both safe laners receiving a similar amount of pressure from these dual lanes that each side's trying against one another.
Yeah. Lanem battling versus Tims. Tims actually has to start backing away.
Things starting to get a little scary there for him. Slalom does indeed just stand his ground. SamH coming with a bit of a wrap around bottom lane. Again, eyes towards Fenrir. Raven gets the slow off. Cuckoo looking for the control. Enfeeble has worn off on Raven. So now with the telekinesis, they drag Fenrir back in. He looks to keep himself alive with the brain sap. Aphotic shield from 11 comes through, but it's not enough. Fate Bolt from Cuckoo finishes off the job, and TNC will get themselves first blood.
Very nicely done there by them. Having this, they're going to get a lot of wand charges down bottom. There you see they both instantly complete their wands because they know it's Abaddon's going to be spamming shield, and Feeble's been getting spammed constantly, so they'll be able to have a lot of mana and sustain down here to put the pressure on and catch this troll up. Meanwhile, Jug Paparazzi is having an excellent time. Almost uncontested farm.
Yeah, feeling a lot more confident now, especially since he's only that level 4 has got the 2 points in the Blade Fury. Point in the healing water as well. Just ready if Tims and SamH do get aggressive on it. So very hard really for this dual lane to make a play onto the Jug. Maybe they can catch Lanham out if he comes a little too close, but still a very formidable, strong, safe lane dual lane from Vici Gaming.
I mean, Nature's Prophet is just looking like just such a damn good hero. Nobody can stand toe-to-toe to him. Like, even an Elder Titan with plus 50 damage is struggling to actually trade hits with this hero.
Tims will be able to get in and take the bounty at the least mid lane. Armel getting very low, but bottom, Fenrir is looking for Cuckoo. Cuckoo able to get in and steal the bounty rune of Vici Gaming.
Nature's Prophet.
With the TP coming through, Cuckoo does manage to drag back one, goes instantly for the TP
nice
out,
play.
and he is going to make it.
And that's the TP completed by Lanem too. He does have a TP to return top if he wants to, if they feel like the Jug starts to get pressured.
Paparazzi straight away just pops down the healing ward, keeps a distance from Tims and SamH.
They see Lanem rotating toward mid with their ward.
Yeah, as you say, he's trying to make something happen with this sort of failed TP, but he'll realize that mid lane gank is not going to occur. So straight back to top, looking to back up. Paparazzi, healing ward's now gone.
Tims is about to get a lot of damage with this Astral Spirit. He's got the double stack already.
Lanham doing a good job at trying to keep that Elder Titan at bay. That range advantage, just potting and poking at Tims.
Incredibly even early game from both sides.
5 minutes in just that one kill in the game. Slow start, Raven still feeling the pressure under that Enfeeble spam. He's getting something, but it, as you say, is not nearly as much as what Paparazzi is finding up top with the backup of Lanham.
And the nice thing is, like I was mentioning, the magic wand, right? So even if he is enfeebled, if it gets to that point, he can use some spells to last it.
He's not under the effects of Enfeeble at the moment, so a few happy moments for Raven. Fenrir has got the pulls going, and getting a sizable bit here from these camps.
Top lane,
as well.
Paparazzi just gets destroyed by the level 2 Spirit, plus 177 damage. Tims constantly stacking these camps.
As you say, that Spirit play from Tims has been on point.
Oh
And
my
Lanham,
God.
I mean, look at it go. A couple of hits and Lanham. He's feeling the pain. Stun from Sam. We'll go forward. In fact, he's got it.
Dead.
Sam manning up there.
This dual lane, although SamH is not getting the most last hits, the amount of pressure they can put with that Astral Spirit.
Can't underestimate that if you're Vici Gaming.
Definitely not.
Those punches, as we saw, absolutely ripping through the two of Vici Gaming. So now 3-0 for TNC. They are certainly managing to get these early little kills. Bottom lane, Cuckoo. Time for the movement onto 11. Now got the slow. Fenrir's going to drop the Enfeeble down onto Raven.
The TP's coming down from Lanem.
Got the numbers here, Vici Gaming. TNC have to be careful here, but it looks like they won't have a chance to save Cuckoo. Maybe with the mischance from the whirling axes, they'll have the chance to get him out. It looks like they will. They'll get themselves back underneath the tower.
That was like, what, 3 misses at least? And mid lane now, Tim's.
He's coming in with a rotation. The stomp's there. Ori trying to keep himself alive with the Siphon, but these slaps are too much from Tim's as they'll nuke down Ori. 4 for 0. TNC making some smart movements across the map.
Tim's is usually like the big player to watch for this team in the early game movements, as it tends to be the 4 role, but Tim's has been phenomenal lately with his 4 play. And we see Cuckoo as well. The big thing that me and you got to see when we were commenting them during the group stages is getting these deep observer wards down early so they can read the map movement. So you see that one placed by Cuckoo. And now look at this. Ori TP's mid. Cuckoo's already waiting there.
He's straight away looking for a play. Drags him back into the stomp. TPs are going to be coming through, but all the damage coming out from this lightning pony is going to be enough to get the kill. They do lose Tim's for this, but they'll take that. They can get everyone else out. Looks like Vici Gaming will be able to swing the trade in their favor as they find Cuckoo. Cuckoo will try and make them spend as much time as they can, but he is dead for sure. So 2 for 1, but that is the Death Prophet straight back out. Ori
and the TP.
For 10 seconds, and indeed, he's going to have to take that walk back to lane. So
it's
it cost them 2 supports, but I think they're fine with that, TNC.
I think so too, because Raven this whole time bottom gets left alone. He's able to put some pressure on tower, catch up in last hits. So it's like 2 for 1, but TP's forced, lots of reactions.
Still, though, the top lane for Vici Gaming, even though there were those kills, is definitely where you look towards Paparazzi, and you really feel the farm on this man.
Yeah.
He's top net worth. He's on track for some very good early item timings here, as despite having the dual lane, and as we saw, despite losing the backup of Lanham a few times, he is holding his own very, very, very nicely up top.
Yeah, I mean, it's crucial for them for that, because especially now the 2 that Sam H has already hit level 6, this Death Prophet could be at risk of dying a lot of times from those rotations.
Sam just teasing with the stun onto Paparazzi. We're seeing if we can try and bait out Blade Fury, but Paparazzi's keeping his cool. He knows, and he's calling Sam's bluff there. Try for the stomp. And Paparazzi, some nice little fancy footwork up there, keeping him safe. They will try and move in on him again. The creep wave pushes forward. He's now level 8.
Lanning's just jungling at the moment.
He's done with the lanes.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird that he's not just trying to put the pressure on, because they're watching this the whole time too, so they know that they can play a little bit more aggressively, knowing that he's got like no mana to really come to the front. He's even going to just continue it with the Nature's Call. Now look, the Nyx. This is what we were mentioning.
Let's see what they can do here. Ori is going to try and go with the Siphon onto Cuckoo, but TNC, they've got the numbers straight away with the mass stuns and burst damage from Armel. They find the kill. Paparazzi does TP in. He's got the Omni Slash looking for Armel with the Blade Fury. Armel trying to get himself back to safety, but Fenrir is there with the Nightmare, holds him down, and they will find the return kill. A mid for a mid, as Paparazzi with a quick heads-up rotation to make sure that Vici Gaming can get that core kill in return.
Dying several times, though, early game as a Death Prophet can really set you back, because you want to be able to get, like, in this game in particular, he needs, like, Yules. He may even need a Hood, to be honest with you, or, like, a very early BKB because of all the magic damage that's coming out from TNC. So that's really starting to pile on.
Down bottom lane 11. Has got the helm complete, and surprise, Ori's going to turn it to late. Raven immediately just goes for the TP out. He's out of there. But the ghosts are out, so Vici Gaming can look to put pressure onto this tier 1 tower now with the Troll pushed down to the lane. And they'll certainly look to do that. Fortification will come out from TNC, but TNC with no intention of heading down here into the ghost. They'll let Vici Gaming get this one for free.
Armel's on the hunt.
This ward has given them a lot of valuable information about Lanham's whereabouts. He has got the shrine. Quick sprout onto Armel. Will buy him some time. He's trying to get the kill here. A bit of body blocks there from Fenrir. Nearly puts Lanham in a bit of a dodgy situation, but he will be fine. Now they're going to look to turn. They turn towards Armel.
They caught a glimpse of Sam H with the sentry ward they have in the river, so they instantly backed away. They also have another sentry there watching.
Now this ward is...
Sam H is looking for Lanham, though. Lanham. Oh, we'll scurry away. And Raven instantly moved top after they did the rotation bottom with the Death Prophet.
Yeah.
Takes advantage of that Exorcism being down as well as the Omni Slash and is able to claim that tower. So tower trade coming out. Still a very close, even game. 1K gold lead, 1K experience for TNC.
Interesting to see how the Troll and the Jug do in terms of the race towards the Battle Fury. Both going for that this game, and at the moment,
they're
very
identical.
close to net worth. So we'll see who gets it first. See who can farm just that little bit harder and faster.
The TNC supports are already level 6.
Now, immediately TPing out. As he realizes he could be under the threat of a potential Omni Slash from Paparazzi. Top lane, Ori.
Again, they're hunting non-stop.
Sam H here, looking for the setup, just buying some time here, waiting for more to come in as Tim's closes the gap. They've got the Echo Stomp, they have the control, they surround Ori, and another death for the Death Prophet. TNC doing a fantastic job at just prioritizing Ori anytime he comes out onto the map. And they're getting away with it.
Yeah, every time they get a vision of like 11 in particular, they're like, okay, this Death Prophet's going to be alone. There's no other way to really save her. So they can continue running at Vici and that top again. Now they're looking for Fenrir.
They're going to find it. He comes a little too close for comfort there as he tries to hold on to his tier 2 tower, but he is just a lone Bane. And with the numbers, TNC starting to overrun elements of Vici Gaming's lineup. As they're picking up the pace, they're putting this pressure onto the tier 2 top. Mid lane, Vici Gaming will try for a tier 1 in return. As Lanham ready to join the lanes once again, brings the Treants in, gets the push going.
They're holding on to that Exorcism to look for a fight.
And look at this, TNC, they may try and fight around this. May see if they can sort of slow down this tier 1 push. Cuckoo's going to come with the Fade Pulp, and will just be that. As it seems TNC will just commit for the tier 2 top, and they'll get it. So they do find the trade.
Both teams are doing very similar movements.
Yeah.
TNC able to claim the tier 2 top now, and look at this, Vici, they run to that tier 2 bottom now. It does seem like TNC, they want to take the fight here.
I think, yeah, for TNC, you don't want to let 2 towers go for just the 1. You want to try and kick things off, but it is going to be hard, Ori, with the ghosts up.
Kuku's trying to steal it.
Oh, did he manage to grab it?
He sure did.
Cuckoo has the Exorcism. A very nice steal for the Rubik, but doesn't look like it's going to be nice enough to stop this push. They'll get the tower and they've got the sentry down. So straight up with the Fiend's Grip from Fenrir, they'll grab Sam H.
The warding by Vici so far has been excellent. Like we see TNC lately have been on fire with their wards, but Vici in this time, they get the deep vision from Lanem on these 2 high grounds and then constantly putting down sentries to watch the Nyx Assassin's movements.
Some very important information being granted to them and
yep.
allowing them to get away with these pushes and these plays and keep this game incredibly close. 8 for 4, only a 1k lead for TNC at the moment, 14 minutes in, as both teams very, very close to one another. And how are we doing on those Battle Furies on both Paparazzi?
There.
As such, he's got the Demon Edge on Paparazzi.
Slightly ahead.
Okay.
But it's very, very close.
It certainly is.
11's going for Blade Mail. So we saw both games where Ice played, he did go for the Radiance, but the Blade Mail this game definitely has its merits.
Oh, yeah.
In particular versus the Lash. And bottom, Armel getting isolated.
He's being chased down. Lanham comes in with a TP and blocks him off. They've done it here, Vici Gaming. Lanham starting to step up the activity again, enabling these big, big kills for them to find Paparazzi getting involved. This is going to put an acceleration onto that Battle Fury.
Yeah, and this is in particular mostly because of the vision that Vici has. They have these deep wards and even some defensive ones to be able to watch the movements from TNC, so they are able to find that Leshrac pushing alone. But Armel was very far up by himself. Here comes the smoke move, TNC.
See what they can do here. Cuckoo really wants to get a usage out of this Exorcism.
So they showed the Nyx mid, so Sam H intentionally went in and made sure that now maybe they can actually get this gank successfully because of that.
Ori, not again. He's got to be careful. He's not going to head this way up. Lanham will, though. And he will pay. Goes around. They've got the control. They'll cut down Lanham, and they do have the creep wave pushing in mid by this tier 2, so they could try and look.
I mean, they've got
for a
ghosts.
second tower, yeah, with the ghosts out. This is going to be quite a push. There's no ghosts, of course, available at the moment for Ori. Still on cooldown, so TNC forcing out the fortification. Fenrir and 11 will come forward. TPs are coming through from Vici Gaming. Will they be able to put a stop to this, though? That's the question. Ori does have the Exorcism available himself once again if he wants to commit with it. They find the stun. Onto Fenrir, sleep as well.
The splitter in the back line.
It's going to be a big combo onto the 2. It should be easy enough for Fenrir with a slow. One more touch. He needs a couple more. The Braid Step actually coming out in time. Fenrir, still alive, finally goes down there to the Astral of Tims. They've lost one on Vici Gaming. 11 trying to come back forward, but he's already used the borrowed time, so Abaddon's gone. TNC have taken 2 out of this, Ori.
Oh my, Cuckoo's doing so much work with these steals. The shield there giving them enough damage, the initiation, and then now he steals healing wards, so they can just re-engage the fight, and that's an Exorcism used.
It is. No way that Ori can come back forward to the front lines of this for a bit of time. As he's pushed back, a tier 2 taken. Some sweet little plays there from TNC, and as you said, just sort of the combo from Tim's on the back lines and the fact that the rest of the TNC's lineup, they were able to pop that borrowed time very early on in the team fight from 11, so he didn't have it for sort of that stage where it really kicked off into a full 5v5.
The map is so illuminated on both sides, it's actually crazy just to see the wards. Like, nothing's getting dewarded in this game so far. And Sam H has actually gone for a Dominator on the Nyx Assassin.
Okay.
Interesting.
And that's a Nyx Assassin with a lot of regen.
It sure is. 18.6, he can... I mean, Dominator is just seeming to be like the better Midas is kind of what I've been seeing. A lot of these off-laners, it's just like, oh, I can get a Midas, and then they're like, Dominator's just better. So they end up going for that. It helps a lot in team fights. It allows you to split push lanes. It's just got a lot of benefits now.
And Raven, of course, does now have the Battle Fury working on his Yasha and Paparazzi. Same to be said. As these two do have about 800 gold between them. And Raven with that leader at the moment.
Sam H is constantly on the prowl here. Now looking for Ori in the mid lane, while top also.
Tim's.
They want to try to force something onto 11 here.
Found the stomp. They're bringing in Raven. So they can at least pop out the borrowed time, but with the Aphotic Shield.
Tims has a Yule Scepter. He's waiting to prop that ulti so that he can just Yules him up right afterwards.
Sam H is trying to head over his way. In fact, Sam H is going to keep his eyes towards the shrine. As TPs are coming in, Fenrir goes for the Fiend's Grip straight away. They look to turn. They'll burst down the Bane immediately. Ori getting Echo Stomped. Great control from Tims across the tree line. The Earth Splitter's coming in as well. And TNC will look to disengage. They've drawn the attention of the entire team of Vici Gaming, and they'll get out with no casualties themselves.
TNC's doing a great job of, like, they're splitting up the map, because you look at Vici's draft and you're like, oh, they can group up and push really heavily. With Death Prophet, with all the sustain coming from Juggernaut and from Abaddon, they can definitely look to just siege down these towers. But TNC, they're moving around the map and constantly pushing the lanes out and getting these pickoffs.
And they're going to look for Roche. Raven's in there.
They've got the Healing Ward too, so they can be fully sustained right afterwards.
And here's that Troll Warlord. He can do a pretty good job at finding this. They may lose some towers on the side lane for it. But if it is just a tier 1 top, TNC will certainly take that trade.
Sam H is trying to, like, cut this creep wave up top. Fenrir is in position here, though, and quick invis and run away.
That doesn't have the Fiend's Grip though.
They're going to get a Roche, and Tims has been doing a pretty good job of stalling them up top. Sure, they get the tier 1, but a Roche trade forward at this moment in time.
They'll absolutely take it. And look in the jungle already. Sam H, he's looking for blood. He's got the eyes on Fenrir. Opens up with a stun. In come the rest of them. Cuckoo's in time with the grab as they'll bring down Fenrir.
They're just playing at more of a bloodthirsty pace. They're actually looking for all these kills. While you look at, like, Vici, at that point, Bane was farming jungle. Now we look at Lanem, down bottom. He's farming jungle. So a lot more time spent farming on the side of Vici, while TNC, they just want to pressure nonstop, especially now that they have Aegis.
And this, I think, is what some of the panel were talking about. I think Winter was saying, you know, TNC's lineup, if they can get the ball rolling early on, and 20 minutes in, 13-5, having this 3K lead, it's not a massive one, but considering the heroes, the fact that they do as well as Vici Gaming have this sort of Battle Fury core, the Troll Warlord, it's looking pretty good for TNC. See what the next play is from Vici Gaming. Obviously,
Lanem.
A little harder to do so now the Aegis is in play for TNC.
They put defensive wards down on the side of TNC, so they did see Lanem, and they actually were pinging the high ground, kind of saying, like, he warded up here. Tims. We'll find Lanem.
That's got the control. Who else has he got coming across? He does have Sam H in the neighborhood.
Should be able to get Lanem here.
He certainly should. Lanem will sprout himself up, but with Sam H outside, quick stun will finish off the Prophet. Again, some superior catch being shown here by TNC's heroes. It's Raven, able to shove in this mid lane without any sort of threat coming his way, especially knowing that the Nature's Prophet is off the map and the fact that he is holding the Aegis. Paparazzi quick with the counter push bottom.
Yeah. A lot of the weight is going to be on this Jug's shoulders, as we were mentioning. He's going to be going for the BKB next item. Same thing with the Death Prophet. They really need to get these BKBs early versus TNC's heavy magic damage lineup. And it will be a pipe next for the Abaddon to also negate that. And Lanem actually has gone for a more of a split push kind of build here, getting a Meteor Hammer. So we saw the support Nature's Prophets usually go for more of this utility.
With this, though, 21 minutes in, TNC, they're up to the tier 3 towers. Fortification comes out from Vici Gaming. It's a full S and Y on Raven.
Paparazzi's getting the split push at the same time, though, bottom.
Send the TP back at Sam. He'll be the one to deal with this.
Raven draws the line to push bottom all the way out, because they already have the other 2 lanes in a great position. So they could look to get some pickoffs here when Vici splits up to now fix the waves.
Your Scepter now finished on Sam H as well, so that extra bit of catch available for him. And the money on Armel. He's nearly closed in on enough to pick up the full up Yule Scepter, and in fact he just has. Yule Scepter will be on its way out.
Look how Vici's playing. They're playing very afraid because there's that still, of course, that Aegis that TNC has, but I mean, it's like Sam H is constantly off the map, so they're really being threatened by this Nyx Assassin quite a lot. They're all kind of staying near each other now too, so that they don't get picked off. And TNC getting further and further ahead now. 6k gold, 6k experience as well. And they still have that Aegis for a minute and a half, so they will look to try to force something. They've got their lanes in incredibly good positions. You see Tim's is clearing out mid, top's already pushing as well, and bottom they're going to look to take a fight.
And this is sort of illusion and helm control giving TNC some valuable information. They'll find the opening to go in onto 11. He does have the borrowed time. They'll wait it out. There's the control to buy through it. They are going to follow through with this time, but there's a lot of members of Vici Gaming around. Do they want to try and commit for this TNC? Looks like they do. They'll turn towards Fenrir. Fenrir keeping himself alive with the brain sap. Photic shield as well. Out from 11, but it's not enough to save the bait. Bait bolt from Cuckoo brings him down low enough for Armel to finish off the job, and now Lanham's in trouble. He's been pushed to the side, split away from the rest of the team. TNC grab a second.
It's really looking so hard for Vici to take any of these fights, because you look at their lineup, they pretty much, their only catch in this game is Bane. And how is he going to get a Fiend's Grip off in any of these situations versus Rubik, Elder Titan, Leshrac, and now
already Cuckoo with the stun and Blade Fury trying to go on a Paparazzi. Well, he's got the Blade Fury himself, so he'll be fine in terms of the damage. The stun, though, holding back this Abaddon, and that, again, 11 getting caught out. TNC just playing so fast that there isn't even the chance for 11's ult to come back off cooldown.
There's so minimal catch and lockdown on the side of Vici. They don't have any real stuns in their lineup.
24 minutes in, Raven on top of the SMY. He's got a Shadow Blade on his way out. This troll absolutely massive for this stage. Again, they've got a 10k gold lead after those kills. And TNC, they're into the base. Cuckoo, he's jumping in aggressively, looks for the grab. He's trying to get this Juggernaut. They have got the Earth Splitter coming through. Quick duels to buy Raven time as they remove the Fiend's Grip. They've got the Nightmare here. Paparazzi is able to Blade Fury himself away. Meteor Hammer comes down onto Cuckoo. Goes throughout from Ori as they do start to push TNC away, Vici Gaming. Paparazzi looking for the chase. He has got the Omni Slash if he can close the gap, but TNC, they'll group up together. They'll be fine. They'll hold their own. See if they can get themselves back in on this TNC.
They're just waiting to reset. They know Exorcism was used. And this is what we were talking about, is that Vici, they don't have people, they don't have any stuns. They don't have people to actually keep TNC inside of that Exorcism. They back up. No need to take the risk. Take the Shrine at the moment. Then they can look to re-engage. They've now got a Blink on the Leshrac too to get into the fight quicker.
Yeah, Blink on Lash, Blink on Rubik, lots of ways for them to get this jump in. The multiple Yule Scepters.
Yep.
So much catch from TNC, and as we've seen, Cuckoo's just been on top in terms of getting these crucial steals. I don't think I've seen him take a bad spell this game.
Nope. Having an early Blink. Really going to help. And now Paparazzi's actually just trying to commit to the split push a bit here. Going toward top. Ori really needing this BKB. No Exorcism still for 60 seconds though. And TNC, looks like they're going to just claim the second Shrine.
They know that they're ahead. They're playing it safe. There's no sort of threat as watch them as Raven is more than ready to scale.
Sam H is about to have a Blink Dagger as well finished for his team, so they have just an absurd,
well, they got
absurd amount of ways to start the fight. Yeah.
3 Blinks and a Shadow Blade.
Vici's way to start the fight is a lot more awkward. They kind of just have to like be this big unit with the Abaddon in the front lines, with Death Prophet, with BKB. TNC's got a lot of tools at the moment.
Yeah, Ori and Paparazzi just cannot afford to be caught out at the start of these fights for Vici Gaming. They need both of the cores to really kick back at TNC.
Vici's falling further and further behind though, having 4 heroes just trapped in the base. Paparazzi's tried to make some split push, but TNC's not slowing the pace down by any means.
And now, once again, pushing in on bottom. Ray just popped, they managed to claim the range racks. Starting to open things up. Still this time where Ori does not have the ghost available. Lightning and stun does come out onto Ori. Aquatic Shield will be there from 11 to remove it. They'll turn with the silence, trying to go in onto this Leshrac. They have the Siphon. Paparazzi trying to commit, but quickly Cuckoo there with the telekinesis holds Paparazzi back. With the silence, they can't quite get in.
Tim's in the front line, though. He's getting gripped.
They have got the grip onto the Elder Titan. They'll be able to find one. Can they get more? They've lost Lanham. The Omni Slash comes out from Paparazzi. He's focusing towards Armel, chasing him with the Blade Fury. Armel looking to try and run it away into the tree line. He's pretty speedy on this pony. The Crypt Launch there from Ori. The big defense from Vici Gaming. Getting a triple kill for the DP. They push back TNC, and they keep that melee racks alive.
They're able to get the initiation onto the Elder Titan this time. Tim stepping a bit too far up.
Yeah, and it really was both of the big cores from Vici Gaming just able to do their job in that fight.
Yes.
Both Ori and Paparazzi were actually able to get stuck in, get the Omni Slash off, some great bounces from Paparazzi. He was able to commit, and the timing was perfect. TNC just couldn't hold back, losing Tims at the start, as you say. A sort of crucial, massive AoE sort of stomp, lost from the fight.
Just that I mean, killing the supports on the side of TNC is probably the most important at the moment because of how much they can actually apply and how much they can make this Leshrac do with that no field and with that increased magic damage from Elder Titan, as we mentioned several times. TNC, though, still looking to get aggressive. They know Exorcism is down.
Let's see what they can get here. Cuckoo leading in. It's got Fenrir here and underneath his eyes, but Fenrir.
Sam H is stalking Paparazzi. Quick spin, though, by the Jug to dodge the sun.
Still playing around with Fenrir. Silence on the Echo Storm, but it's not needed. Get the kill, they'll get it anyway. But Yules, as they're trying to move over for more. Yules onto Sam H, though, in returns. Lanham's trying for the TP out, but the stun comes through. TNC, they've taken to Armel again. Jumping in, another Yules play here to hold down 11. He has got borrowed time.
So much catch.
So he will be able to get himself out, but again, another Yules up in the air. He's held down. Echo Stomp to come through. Paparazzi trying to commit with the play through, but he can't help out 11. That's a triple kill this time for Raven.
They've got no creeps in the base, though. So the buildings will be okay, but this absurd amount of chase and lockdown on the side of TNC.
the amount of Yules, just constantly, from target to target, TNC are able to really just choose the order in which they take down Vici Gaming's lineup when they go for that sort of momentum.
And Vici, I mean, they're very ulti reliant. They're about to have Exorcism back up, and they do have Omni Slash too, so this could be where they look for a fight, but now the stomp.
Sam's trying to jump in, does get the stun off the Juggernaut. There's going to be a buyback from 11. They're looking to commit. Fiend's Grip holds down Cuckoo. They'll get forced back, and they'll take the Rubik.
TNC's on full retreat.
Lanham TPing in. He's trying to see if he can get a scrounge, so someone Armel gets successfully TP'd out of there. It's going to look like Vici Gaming will be able to catch anything more, though.
Armel ported bottom with his Boots of Travel. He was trying to maybe get some split push going, but gets a bit afraid.
That was the buyback coming in from 11. It does stop TNC from pushing.
Yeah, buyback, BKB charge, and Exorcism. So TNC, they can just look to reset. Something that we've been talking about TNC constantly throughout this tournament is these quick lineups that don't really rely too much on their cooldowns and just constantly looking for these pickoffs. And they will find Fenrir, and they can now make their way into that Roche pit. There's no Exorcism.
Scepter here from Sam. He's looking towards Ori, just burning that mana, making sure that Ori does not have the resources to head forward and do anything about this attempt. As into the pit they go, Raven. Ready to pick up either the Aegis or Cheese. We'll see who gets what. Aegis going to be going the way of Armel. Cheese into the hands of Raven. The second Roshan, and once again, taken by TNC.
And again, they're going to look to fight. Exorcism still not up for 70, so they're just trying to keep taking advantage of that long cooldown. No glyph available at this moment in time either for Vici.
See what they can find here towards the middle. Anyone on Vici Gaming going to step outside? That is the question. As they will be more than ready to pounce upon them. And see, we're just the last few seconds of this mode. They only have the BKB gold for Raven as well.
Yeah.
It's 15k gold lead that TNC are able to hold on for now, and Armel's going to jump in. Silence onto 2 from Ori.
Stolen shield by Cuckoo.
Let's see if Vici can hold this off. Nightmare's there, but indeed, straight away with the Aphotic Shield, removing that. It's the Fiend Script comes through. They're trying to force back this Lesh to safety. They'll actually be able to do so. Armel will be fine. They're going to jump forward. There's no Abaddon for a full minute here. Omnislash comes out, but there's a lot of units for Paparazzi to bounce around and pop the BKB. Armel's still alive in the midst of it all. They've got the stun onto Lanham. Lanham's going to fall. They've lost 3 on Vici Gaming. None of these heroes with buyback available, sure. They took the Aegis out of Armel's hands, but it doesn't matter.
11 got completely caught off guard by this Silver Edge by the Troll Warlord. He just didn't pop his ulti. Just gets killed by everything that TNC has at the moment. And now TNC, that's 1 Rex, 2 Rexes, may even be a 3rd.
Really?
They've got Exorcism, but
with only 2 heroes,
they just call it.
They call it. It's over. TNC. Game
Relentless.
1. Absolutely. The pace they played. Something that the panel said they were looking for. Winter was the one to call it, and they certainly pulled it off here as Vici Gaming just didn't have the time to play their game at all. It was always TNC in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it seemed like they were on the back foot a lot of the times too. Like Vici, they would stop and kind of try to farm a little bit, like the Nature's Prophet as well as like the Bane. All these heroes are kind of jungling a bit. TNC, they had no chill. Any moment they could, they were just running at Vici, trying to take advantage of those cooldowns, and they did an excellent job at that. Sam H on this Nyx Assassin, constantly stalking, ends the game as 4-1 and 15.
I mean, just excellent performances all round from the entire team, really. I mean, Raven, incredible farm,
Cuckoo, great steals.
usage. Yeah,
constantly throughout the entire time. And then all the itemization, again, from TNC this time was incredible. I love the Silver Edge pickup, but also all these Yules. You saw the way they could actually just abuse
the catch.
Being able to catch all these heroes from Vici and also just disengage constantly.
Yeah, indeed, that sort of triple blink, triple Yules build that the team went for as a whole in terms of items. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. TNC taking game 1 here against Vici Gaming.
Yes, indeed. Plenty of stuns, plenty of pace, plenty of low cooldowns, everything you want to win a fast-paced game. And TNC doing exactly that in game number 1. Let's find out what our panel made of that. Kyle, was fairly predictable once the game started going TNC's way, wasn't it?
I feel silly because I realized like 7 minutes into the game that Vici broke the cardinal rule of Dota, which is you need stuns.
Yeah, and they have 1.
Sleep doesn't even count. It's
okay.
they had no stuns.
Right.
And if you look at the Mineski draft, they have the Fury and Abaddon, but what do they pair that with? Gyro DK, a Rubik, Avenge. These heroes actually allow you to make moves with this tempo advantage you're supposed to have with Fury and Abaddon, but there are all these awkward fights because, like, what does Vici do?
Yeah.
Like, how do you actually engage? Like, TNC's just running in circle, like, running around them, and they're just like, what? Pick stuns. Don't not pick stuns. It's rule number 1. I made that mistake many times as a drafter, and you always kick yourself afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it became obvious, didn't it? Once the game was finished, oh wait, yeah, this is not good.
It kind of depends.
And they never really recovered from that either.
Yeah, it kind of depends what the game state is. If you don't pick any stuns, then the only way you can get the other team to fight you is to death ball and take objectives. Then they have to fight you.
Yeah.
In absence of that, you see some of the fights this game, like Vici, one guy's going in, one guy's not sure if he's running or not. You have this engagement by that mid tower where you have the Abaddon going in, getting his ult kited, and the backline gets gone on. Like they can't take these fights at all. And if you're behind, you've lost map control and you're exerting no pressure, and you have no stuns, it looks especially bad and you can't play.
I mean, this is. I don't want to highlight this again, Jack, but it is something that you and I have spoken about last week in the group stages with Vici. Some days they're like, what they do is the same thing. It doesn't look any different, but they do it so much better. And then the following day, it doesn't seem to look quite so good. And then the following day after that, they're back to doing it really well again. Is this what we're at again? Yesterday they were brilliant, and today they're just not very good at it?
I think yesterday they had a better draft. This one, they just kind of poached Mineski's ideas and then didn't execute them as well or with the same understanding.
But I'm talking more about execution, Kyle. I'm talking about, like, there's a vibe about them. It doesn't
Lanham was
feel
lost on Prophet. And the Abaddon's going, like, blade mail after HOD instead of any sort of item that allows him to scale or do damage. And as Winter was saying, like, Lanham has just been under a lot of criticism for his plays from the Chinese fans, and he really did not seem like he was comfortable at all playing that hero.
He does, like, simplify, like, he doesn't know how to play the Prophet support. He wasn't sure what he was doing. And you guys mentioned a lot about lack of stuns, chaotic team fights, but I want to go back to the laning phase. Why do they have the Prophet in the safe lane instead of Bane and Juggernaut on the same lane and Prophet with the Abaddon on the same lane? And they didn't even win any of the lanes. Yeah, it felt like maybe the idea was, okay, we put this Bane with the Abaddon, we try to use the Prophet to secure the safe lane, and then there's going to be like an opening sleep, I TP with the Prophet, I try to win all the lanes, you know. I don't know if that's part of the thought process, but the lanes did not work when they had lane dominating supports.
And also, when you look at the scoreboard, I can't remember the last time I saw Paparazzi was 0-1-6.
Oh, I tell you, I played a pub with him yesterday. He was on negative score, but we won. That was the last time I saw.
All right, well, that's slightly worse than that one, I guess. We'll take it. Not a good scoreboard as far as Vici are concerned. Very few kills on the board, and obviously even less objectives as well in this game.
I mean, the key thing is getting Lamb on a hero that he's comfortable with. After watching yesterday and watching the games today, I think having Lamb on this hero that he needs to be absolutely 100% comfortable is so crucial for them. They
Sure,
somehow
I hear you, Winter, and I agree with you, but at the same time, they can't do that against TNC. That's the issue, isn't it?
why not just pick him like ET? I don't think ET is going to be banned early. Very unlikely. Just give him something that he's used to playing.
Yeah, to follow up that, whenever I studied their team, I always felt it's like actually Jack's team VGJ. I always banned ET against SVG 100% of the time, and I was the same against Lanham if we ever got a chance to play against them. Which you have to go to lands.
He doesn't play Sand
do that.
He doesn't play. His Earth Spirit is not good. His Tusk is no good. But the only one is Elder Titan. Just give it.
Are the Chinese fans flaming Lanham, or is this just like you? Like,
No,
seven Weibo accounts.
Chinese fans are on his back a little bit ahead.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of criticism. You actually did play them at Perfect World Masters in November, right? Was that last time that you played VG?
Yeah, was that group stage or we played them in the event? I think it was group. Oh no, it was group stage because we beat Newbie. No, we beat King. We lost to LFY 2-1. Then Vici, I think, beat them. I don't remember. Vici lost to Newbie. Newbie beats everybody in China. It's been that way for months. They just can't beat the West. It's very strange.
MVP for this particular game, Jack?
I'd probably give it to Sam H. I think some of those pickoffs on Death Prophet just basically ended any chance that VG had in this game. You catch him out alone, all of a sudden this frontliner, your pusher, is set behind even more. He's not threatening any objectives. VG already can't fight. Can't really start fights or keep anyone in place to begin with. Again, the Yules talk about the itemization, not only increasing the move speed on all these heroes, but giving you an escape that is usually enough to get you cleanly out of the fight. And he had to have a good game and really control the tempo.
I think the helm as well. Sundar, you really like the helm.
Yeah, I loved it because no one else on his team could really buy one. The item is super strong, and it just allowed him to play with the ET so much better because you just have more damage, and I don't even know how to explain it. You just see it and it looks good.
Every game, every team should have one helm.
Probably. There's some games where maybe you should have one every game. Yeah.
Helm is the new drums.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, break time for us here on the panel. We need to pay some bills, of course, and when we come back, game number 2 of our final series. Will it be our final game? We'll find out very shortly.